Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the Rugby Obsession YouTube channel and newsletter from the link in the description. So, imagine pausing the entire NFL schedule for a season.
Just like totally stopping it in its tracks.
Right. Or halting the UEFA Champions League just so two historic franchises can settle a 30-year grudge across a 6-week multi-city road trip.
It sounds impossible, honestly.
It really does. But that is the sheer scale of the logistical and cultural anomaly we are analyzing today. Because on August 7th in Cape Town, the whistle blows on something completely outside the modern playbook, the historic Springboks versus All Blacks tour.
Yeah, an 8-match, 6-week tour. It's massive.
Exactly. And our mission today is to figure out how this specific event perfectly marries the vintage romance of old-school rugby with the absolute cutting-edge reality of modern sports scheduling.
It is a fascinating collision of eras.
Yeah.
And to understand the massive stakes here, you have to look at the sheer calendar real estate this requires. I mean, the All Blacks haven't properly toured South Africa since 1996.
Which is a long time.
A really long time. So this is a true throwback event. They literally had to pause the Rugby Championship to pull this off.
Which is just unheard of today. You do not see global properties halting their guaranteed tournaments for a bilateral tour.
No, completely unheard of.
So whether you're a lifelong rugby fanatic or, just fascinated by how massive global sporting events are orchestrated, this tour is a masterclass in giving fans exactly what they want. But I do have to play devil's advocate for a second.
Go for it.
The modern rugby calendar operates kind of like a fast food drive-thru, right? Quick, highly scheduled test matches. Whereas this 8-match tour is like a slow-cooked multi-course feast. So with all the title sponsors and branding involved today, is this truly a nostalgic throwback? Or is it just a brilliantly marketed modern cash grab?
Honestly, it is genuinely both. You really can't separate the commercial reality from the historical baggage here. Think about before 1996.
Right, the amateur days.
Yeah, the All Blacks traveled to South Africa for full tours in 1928, 1949, 1960.
Wait, they toured that often?
1970 and 1976 as well. And they failed to win a series every single time.
Wow.
Every time. Every time. It was a graveyard for touring teams. The 1996 tour, which they won 2-1 with a 36-player squad, was their first professional tour.
Right, closing that massive gap.
Exactly. And now, 30 years later, this new tour is closing a massive gap in rugby history. They're projecting around 3,000 traveling Kiwi fans are going to make the journey.
3,000 fans crossing the ocean. That's incredible. Okay, so moving from that sweeping historical context, let's zoom in on the actual ground-level experience for the local fans in South Africa, because that's where the real magic of this format lies.
Oh, absolutely. The provincial warm-up matches.
Yes. We've got 4 provincial warm-up matches. The Stormers in Cape Town, the Sharks in Durban,
the Bulls in Pretoria, and the Lions in Johannesburg.
Right, and these aren't just exhibitions. Rassie Erasmus has specifically released top players like Evan Roos, Andre Hugo Venter.
Jocko Williams and Ambrose Papier, too.
Yeah, giving them back to their provincial sides just for these games. Actually, real quick, if you're loving this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe to the Rugby Obsession YouTube channel and newsletter from the link in the description. But getting back to the provincial games, it feels like a neighborhood all-star band getting to open for the biggest rock group in the world.
That's a fun way to look at it.
How does giving these massive fixtures to local provinces change the dynamic of the sport compared to a standard, highly controlled test window?
Well, it makes the event an entire season for the province. It's not just a fleeting TV broadcast, Think about modern cricket.
Where they just parachute in for a few days.
Exactly. They drop in 3 days before a test, and they often lose because they aren't acclimatized. This rugby tour builds serious rugby currency by giving New Zealand 3 intense matches on South African soil before the first test at Ellis Park.
Okay, so we've established the incredible romance and local passion of the tour. Let's pivot to the stark modern reality of actually moving 40-plus massive athletes across the globe to make it happen.
The logistics are just absolutely brutal.
I can imagine.
Dave Rennie is managing a 44-man squad this time around. Remember, it was 36 in 1996. And they had a failed Dubai travel route, so the squad is arriving in 3 separate groups via Singapore, Hong Kong, and Perth.
That sounds like a total nightmare for the training staff.
It is. And on top of that, Captain Artie Savea is arriving 10 days late just to get a rest.
10 days late? Wait, how does that even work with preparation?
The physical toll is just too high otherwise. He needs the recovery. Meanwhile, Erasmus is splitting his Springbok squad, sending one group to Buenos Aires.
That is just chaotic. But it leads us to the curveball ending of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Because the fourth and final test on September 12th isn't in South Africa, and it's not in New Zealand. It's at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, USA. At sea level. I mean, an old-school traditional tour ending in Maryland. I have to ask, what does taking the climax of rugby's greatest rivalry to the United States tell us about the future of the sport?
It tells us everything about where the sport is heading. It's a massive strategic audition for the 2031 Men's World Cup in the Americas.
Oh, right, because they need to test the American market.
Exactly. While old tours ended where the boat left from, modern tours end where the calendar and new commercial markets dictate.
So it's a perfect piece of scheduling art, really. It proves a sport can honor its deep emotional roots with those provincial matches while aggressively expanding its future with the Baltimore finale.
It completely balances the romance with the reality of modern sports.
We want to hear from you. What are your thoughts and opinions on bringing back these long, grueling tours? Is this the perfect model for the future of rugby? Drop your comments and let us know.
And as you think about that, I'll leave you with a final thought to mull over. If this hybrid model of old-school provincial tours mixed with neutral site megatests proves financially and culturally successful, will we see other global sports completely abandon their traditional calendars to replicate it?
That is a fascinating question to leave on. One last reminder to subscribe to the Rugby Obsession YouTube channel and newsletter from the link in the description. Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive, and we'll look forward to you listening to our next episode.